And we're off. Day 22. Hopefully not quite such a long and arduous journey today. Anyway, for those of you that are wondering about, you know, here you are with all this GPS crap and you still can't find your way around. It's not so much is that the GPS crap keeps telling me to go the wrong way. And yesterday I did not have any beeline programming. I had no GPX file for that. I just went by the Garmin. And that's why I bought the beeline, because the Garmin is it can be unreliable. It's like I say, it's a guideline at best. And the Garmin does weird things. It'll take you onto roads you don't want to go, and it'll lead you the long way. And you know, things like yesterday where they wanted to do a ferry. Now this is all in hindsight, as I was telling the family online at home, kind of what happened with the 100 miles to Digby and back. And it was suggested, well, you know, why didn't you just see if you could take the ferry? And you know, might have made it easier than going 100 kilometers back. Well, first off, at the time when I was in Digby, I didn't realize it was 100 kilometers. I thought it was about maybe 60 or 70. It's like, you know what, whatever, half hour, I'm back and I'm on track again. It didn't seem that bad. Here we are, I believe we're getting on the highway. So I just started trekking back, and I didn't actually realize till I got all the way back that it was 100 kilometers back. So yeah, that. And also when I was there, I'm like, I don't know when the ferry's coming. This is not just like quick little ferry that goes back and forth constantly. This is one that goes maybe twice a day. And people book that ferry ahead months in advance. I probably couldn't even get on it. And then even if they did have room for me to get on it, it would have been really expensive. I remember that's an extremely expensive ferry, the one to Digby. And even if they could get me on, how many hours do I have to sit there and wait till the ferry comes and I can get on? And I remember it's like a good hour or so to get across, and so it just didn't seem like it didn't seem like anything I wanted to be doing. Just because there was a sign that said that there's a restaurant down this way, so I turned off the highway. Heading south. Now I hope it's not like 20 miles to the restaurant, or I have no idea what it is. We're just going to check it out. I'm not going that far though. Okay, forget it. We're going to turn around. There's no restaurant down here. If there is, it's like 50 miles or something. Like I said, 4 or 5 kilometers 4 or 5 kilometers max. There, getting a little sharper on nose. Still got to use the feet though. So now my route has got me going on the side roads, I guess you call it, along the shoreline, like I like to do, heading towards PEI. Wasn't looking good for restaurants. Nothing on the highway. No small towns to go through that had anything. And certainly not going to find anything here, but the sign did say something about a park, so we may have to do the little morning picnic thing again. I'm getting low on food, but I do have a few little things in there I can scrounge up before I find a grocery store again. So since it's such a nice morning and all, if I find a nice picnic spot, I'll stop there and have some sort of little breakfast. Well, it certainly is a nice country road in the back country of New Brunswick. But I don't know what's on this road. I'm a little concerned. It's like really smooth and shiny and black and oily kind of surface, and it kind of concerns me. So I can't just ride along willy-nilly all relaxed and stuff, because I don't know how slippery this stuff is. It might be okay, but it just doesn't look good. Oh, is that the park? Wow, that sucks. This is why I don't want to go on a camping trip out east with my trailer, because that's what the parks are like. That's what the camping's like. It's just like, everybody cram into my front yard, okay. We shall push on to the great PEI. Another thing I forgot to do was reset my trip meter. So since yesterday morning, I've gone 644.7 kilometers. So here we go. This is the causeway that goes from the mainland all the way across to PEI. May God be with me. Those winds are going to be strong up there. It's not like I haven't ridden in strong winds before. There we go, baby. Well, at least they've got the walls to give you a bit of a wind barrier, and that helps. I don't know why, but this shit always makes me nervous, these frickin' bridges. It's just a road. It's just a road. But man, you go up so high. How could you get scared of heights when you're on the ground, but you're just up high, like at high elevation? Can't quite figure that out. I had the same thing at Cabot Trail. This kind of fear of heights thing. Well, regardless, you got to get through it. Just relax and keep driving. I know a lot of other people are like, what do you mean? This is fun, but yeah, I don't know. It just unnerves me. Heck, I've been over worse. Burlington Skyway and Garden Gate Bridge or whatever are actually probably a lot more precarious than this. I'm not even feeling any wind. So yeah, those concrete barriers on either side, they actually really do work to block the wind. It's a good idea. Don't know what it'd be like coming across here in the winter, but if they didn't have those, yeah, that could be a big problem. But I don't know if this is the longest bridge in the world, if you call it a bridge, or is it a causeway? We're not sure. Whatever it is, it's freaking huge. It's one of Canada's greatest engineering achievements, I must say, building this sucker. There's probably an interpretive center about it somewhere. Just look at that water out there. What a nice day. Anyway, it sure is easier than taking a ferry. A ferry you gotta wait all day for. Ferries are fun, but you know, sometimes you gotta get to where you're going. Yeah, this is totally fine. There's another section where it goes up even higher, but this is fine. And the weird thing about, a lot of people know this, but maybe if you're from out of the country or whatever, you might not know, is this is a toll bridge. And you notice I didn't have to pay, there was no pay gate going on the toll bridge, going on this bridge. Because the only time you pay is when you're leaving. So if you come across and you have zero money, you can't come back. You're stuck on PEI. You have to pay only when you're coming back. which I just find that kind of interesting. We're going across the causeway. So as I venture on to PEI, I should let you know that this is kind of like the last pinnacle of the trip. The last sort of big destination that I was going to go see. Because after tonight's stay, yeah, I mentioned it last night. After tonight's stay is just kind of starting to head back. And it's going to take me almost a week to get back home, but we're heading back. Some people could do it in less, sure, if you drive 1,000 kilometers a day. You saw what 600 kilometers was like yesterday. That was 12 hours on the road, man. And I didn't really stop that much. So, yeah. This is the last thing I'm going to really go and see. And I'm sure I'll see some things on the way back, but it's all, I'll be heading towards home after tomorrow. And in a way, it doesn't feel bad. I mean, this is the biggest, longest adventure I've had ever, especially on a motorcycle. I've never gone anywhere like on sort of a trip or holiday or whatever for 27 days. And it was several years in the making to make this happen. It might have happened sooner if it wasn't for all the COVID, but we still made it happen. You know, approved with the wife, and even my daughter came up to me one day and said, "Dad, you if you're going to do this, you got to do it before you get too old. Don't just keep putting it off for year after year, or it's not going to get done. You don't know what's going to happen from one year to the next. So, you know, do it now while you can." And I took her up on that because it's a big important thing for me to have approval from my family to just kind of take off on them like that. You know, the last thing I am is one of those deadbeat dads that just takes off and just leaves. So this was a long time in the making. Never done anything this big before. So heading home is, you know, I'm already starting to feel a little bit, I guess, you know, a little bit homesick, I guess you could say. Just kind of like, okay, you know, I don't mind going back home. I don't mind getting back home, even if it means going to work and everything else. Because you can only do this so long now. There are people, you know, like Nora Lee and them, and she's gone for literally years doing this. And she considers this her full-time job. She has no interest in having a family or having a solid home, at least not at this point in her life. And you know, if that's what she loves and she can do it, that's great. I don't think I could do this for years. I really don't. 27 days is enough. And I'll probably take a good long break for taking long trips like this, but you know, it's only a few more weeks after I get back, and I got to take my daughter on about a 4-day trip. And she's coming on the back like we did last year. We're doing the same trip again. She wants to go do that again. All along Lake Erie and that. Niagara Falls, stuff like that. Well, that's going to seem like a baby trip compared to this.